What's up, traders? Going 4 for 4 today. Going to jump right into it. KPTI was our big winner. We'll start with that one because that was our first trade and ended up being our second trade as well. As you can see, scrolled out yesterday's high, 1244, made a nice little move up through there. This 1277 area was off of the daily. If we want to go take a quick look at it, if we scroll back just a little bit, you'll see a big area over here. And that was the top of this area here. And so that was kind of why we had drawn it. And then we had this area here, which you can see it's like right at where the current price is 14. And then we have more of it right here at 1450. So as it was coming up, I was really expecting that to be a pretty key area. And that was actually just why I drew this one here. I was looking for how much further it could possibly come down. But got a big move up through the $0.50. We actually put an order out once we felt the jiggle on this one. It was actually kind of like as it spiked up. Usually when you get those big quick spikes up through key areas, you get that immediate retest of that whole $0.50. It's exactly what happened. It went up to 34. We got filled at 30 and it immediately spiked down. The bid went down to, I watched the trade back, which again, if you want to watch these live, it'll be the pinned comment down below. It'll take you over to the highlights section over on Twitch, which is where I stream live every single morning. And it went down to 1292 and we had put an order out real quick at 1304. So we got filled. So that was a pretty quick trade. It jumped right back up and then we started to scale into it again. And I really wanted this to go up through 14. It only got to 13.99. If it went through 14, we were going to hammer it. It was kind of like a 1-1 here. But the reason I did that is because we started it fairly small anyway. And these were pretty close together. So I didn't want a 1-2 because it felt like on this big move back up, it started to feel like it was jiggling there. And as you can see, it did try to pull back before eventually trying 14. So when it did try 14, I was hoping it would go through so that we could actually get some actual size in there, get our average closer to 14, and then look for this move down because we still hadn't had like an actual attempt at a pull down, pull back down, whatever you want to call it. And so we ended up scaling out of that and pretty much got the bottom of this. We didn't mean to. I was looking to get filled as close to 13 as possible, figuring it would try to bounce there again. And it ended up doing that. It took like six minutes or so, but it did eventually do that. But then it curled back up, made a nice little move. And through that previous resistance, again, we had this line marked off the daily. And sure enough, it went right to it. Could have been a little more patient with our ad. Was looking to add to this if it wanted to go through that area. But it held pretty strong, came back down, started to scale out. Was really hoping these leftovers to come all the way back down here to 13 again. But as you can see, it started to curl. So we jumped out and eventually this thing kind of just started to come back down to that area, but didn't quite make it all the way. Eventually went back to high a day. Again, was watching it when it got here, but it did not make a move. We would have wanted this thing up through 15 because at this point you would start to think shorts are getting trapped. So you would expect like a really nice squeeze. And we didn't get that away from that previous resistance. So our next trade was on Ford. This one made a really nice move initially through this previous resistance here, which was yesterday's high of 1794. If we scroll out real quick, you can see it there. And it went straight up to 1824 or so, which is why I ended up marking that because we didn't get a trade until after that. But this would have been a nice trade. But apparently talking to Thomas and the guys in the Discord, they said this happened really fast anyway. So even if you would have pulled it up, you wouldn't have been able to get it because it immediately shot all the way back down to 18. So I was like, dang, that looks like it would have been a really nice trade. But it started to kind of work its way back up. And I said, okay, well, if we can get up to 1850 and through, I'm going to be interested because that's the kind of extension I'd be looking for. But it really started to struggle. And I had 200 shares loaded. I decided to go down to 100. And it was such an obvious jiggle up here at the top that I decided to give it a shot. And if it wanted to go through 50, we'd be okay with that. But this ended up being the high at 1848. We got filled at 1843 and we scaled it back down to that previous resistance. And honestly, this thing went right through it. Didn't even really attempt to bounce. It actually came up and tried to use it as resistance again. But ultimately tried to get back to the highs. Again, guys, intense move into the pullback. That's my edge. What it does after that, I have no idea what it's going to do. Can we get more out of some of the pullbacks? Sure. But I'm always looking for most of my shares off of 50% of that move from the extension. And then I will try to get the leftovers down to that previous resistance. I always try that. And then if we still have enough shares to possibly look for more, I will. But if it's just a starter, a lot of times I don't have that many shares. So Path was our last trade. This one was a little sketch just because it was like some weird volume out of nowhere, which wasn't even on the candle we got in on, and then you can see the volume was pretty much dead as it started to make a move. But the move, if you go watch it live, it was pretty awesome. It was kind of steady. The ask was getting hit, and then all of a sudden it kind of stopped. So we took a small starter there, 100 shares, and got the pretty quick pullback. I think this was like a 16-second trade. That first trade on KPTI was only 8 seconds, and just made a quick $20 on it. So that brought our total to right under $100 on the day, and I'm not going to complain. Just trying to steadily increase the size, and if we keep getting decent moves, it shouldn't be a problem. And that's all I got for you. Don't forget, it's a 3-day weekend. We are closed on Monday for President's Day, and I'll be back Tuesday morning. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Always appreciate the support. If you do have any questions or comments, leave them down below. You can find me in Discord or over on Twitter, and I'll see you Tuesday. Peace.